Another day, another A-League club season review, and today we are talking about Macarthur FC, the Bulls from the southwest of Sydney. Quite a fascinating campaign the Macarthur FC had this season. When you look at the way they started the campaign, they started so well. And if you look back to the ladder in those early rounds, Macarthur was sitting in that top two for the first, month or so, and were looking like a side who were going to be, one of the top teams in the competition. And the team that they had on paper certainly matched that. I mean, you look at the players they brought in: Ulysses De Villa, Danny De Silva, Craig Noon. All of these players were impressive signings, and signings that had the potential to take this Bulls side to a second consecutive finals finish. For Macarthur FC, it was quite interesting to see what happened after that COVID break. Obviously, it really affected so many teams, and Macarthur had a massive break. And whether you can put it down to that in terms of how that changed their form throughout this season, because we did see a dip in that second half of the season, especially the final third of the season. They weren't quite finding the same consistency that they had early on in the campaign. The injury to Ulysses De Villa, he missed a little bit of football. Danny De Silva picked up an injury. They did have some key injuries here and there that were unfortunate for them. Tommy Urich is the big one as well. Of course, they did bring in Apostolos Giannou, but it would have been interesting to see what this Macarthur side could have done with the playmakers like Uli De Villa, like Craig Noon, teeing up Tommy Urich. I think that would have been a really deadly combination. For Macarthur SC, though, they never really, even though they were sitting in the top six for so long, they really only dropped out in the last few weeks. They never really convinced me that they were going to be a side who could genuinely challenge for the championship. And I'm not sure what that is, because again, they had some really impressive matches and picked up some big score lines, but ultimately was that consistency. Even though you might see them, I remember when they won 4-1 at home to Adelaide United, but a couple weeks later they lost 4-2 to Central Coast Mariners. They had some really sort of up and down. There was just, again, that consistency really hurt. That failure to establish any consistency really hurt Macarthur FC. Speculation was, of course, surrounding their coach Ante Milicic throughout much of this season, and it was confirmed a couple weeks out from the end of the regular season that Ante Milicic was departing the club. And I just wonder how much of an impact that had on the club. And you just get a sense, in some matches, I remember seeing, Ante Milicic will go and shake hands with the opposition coach, 3-4 minutes before the full-time whistle. There was almost a sense that of just acceptance of defeat at times for Macarthur FC. There wasn't much fight there, where there wasn't much real, spirit shown by this side, which I think ultimately let them down in the end. That was the reason why they dropped, so far outside the top six now. I mean, the way that they had the opportunity to have 2 consecutive seasons finishing finals football, which would have been, awesome for them, but they failed to do so, and that lack of fight, that lack of spirit at the end, I think let them down. And that's the thing for Macarthur FC, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same in terms of, what is really their identity? What are Macarthur FC really about? I want to see them establish themselves more. I want to see, I think there is potential there for Macarthur FC. I went down to a game. I went down to the Battle of the West. You can check out the matchday vlog that I did for that one. There is something there at Macarthur FC. There is potential there. And I think that rivalry with West Sydney Wanderers could be a really, really exciting derby, one of the league's biggest derbies in years to come, potentially. They do have a long way to go. But I just want to know more about Macarthur FC. I want to know what they're about, because I feel like, especially when you look at some of the other teams around the league, and even just in New South Wales, they're a bit more well-defined in terms of what they're about. I want Macarthur FC to establish their identity a bit more. What I think is important for Macarthur FC now moving forward is that they bring in the right man to lead the squad next season, and they make sure that they, maintain a quality group of players. There's no doubt this Macarthur FC side, for their first 2 seasons, have had some fantastic players at the club. It's important that they don't slip down, because I think with this finals finish, the way they ended off this season, I could potentially see this carrying on to next year, and potentially if they don't get a good start next season, they could struggle. So that'll be fascinating to see what manager they bring in and what players they manage to keep a hold of for next year. Macarthur FC though, the Bulls, what did you make of them this season? We'd love to get your thoughts, so jump down in the comment section, let me know. I'm doing season reviews for every single A-League club, so check the channel to see if I've done a season review for your club yet. If not, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss your club's video. If you have enjoyed, make sure you hit the like button. Helps me out a whole lot. My name is Lockie. This is Coastwood Football. See you in the next one.